Hello, I am the Reading Rainbow Emperor, and today I'm reviewing Superluminary by John C. Wright. This is such a fun and fantastic book, full of wonderful, super huge ideas that quite frankly never failed to give me a little bit of inspiration or two. Whether it's with the super huge armada of Dyson spheres and other monstrous things in the World Armada, that's three books in one, or it's the monstrous space vampires, or it's how the backstabby interactions between the Lords of Creation. It's really just exciting every single time, and it's a joy to read. Not as weighty as Swan Knight's Son or the Count to Infinity series, Count to Eschaton. There we go. But it's enjoyable nonetheless. It starts off with Aeneas uh, finding some assassins in his room. He had hired them to basically play some pranks on his much more powerful uncles because he is something of a revolutionary, even though it never really comes up or anything like that again. It does kind of, because he wants justice for the various, underlings that they have, but it never really goes anywhere as much as they want it. Lord Tellus did nothing wrong. Where he gets thrown to Pluto with the teleporting pearls that they have. There he discovers that the ancient intergalactic yeah, sure, why not? Intergalactic ship is full to the brim with space vampires, as well as a repository of the knowledge of the ancients who fought the vampires in times past. Lord Pluto tells him its dark secrets, and it throws out a plot where Aeneas eventually becomes the emperor of mankind, has all kinds of wacky adventures on space vampire worlds, and eventually destroys the vampires once and for all. It's absolutely amazing. And honestly, I'm only covering a whole bunch of, barely covering anything. It's absolutely amazing. The only the Infinite Thedron cube had lifted off from Antarctica. It's stuff like that all over the place. Aeneas's constant struggles with his family fills the pages with intrigue. His struggles with the space vampires gives one a sense of hope and heroism, even as you wonder how such a man could overcome the infinitely malleable and undefeatable in sciences space vampires. Can be defeated, can they? At all? You'll have to read it. Of course they can. This is a spoilerific review. Honestly, it just never gives anything. Some of the things to think about. First, the technology and its use. It doesn't give up on the godlike powers of it. That these like Lord Jupiter, who is able to throw lightning with his fists hands, or Mercury, who is able to play himself in table tennis, or War, who is absolutely covered in antimatter and could detonate stuff at any time. It's not he doesn't reach quite the same level as Atkins from uh, the Golden Age series, who is one of my favorite characters, as everyone's, I'm sure. Uh, but he's pretty close up there. There's one point where he just divides himself a million times and starts fighting the vampires. It's amazing. Uh and it goes on. Like I can't stop talking about the scale of this thing. The scale is super solar. It is immense. People fight with Dyson spheres. He has an armada, a world armada, a literal armada of worlds. Vampires can be as large as planets and sit in the galaxy with space stations light years across. There's a thousand things that's just amazing here. The scales beyond scales. There's battles between laser weapons, a million light years, in range. Uh, with the time delay to match. This holy light of the star wipes out vampires. It's got warp technology, where like they counter warp technology by overloading their own warp technology, but but then it's countered by this all another gravitational technology, and it just goes on and on. Really, this is a masterclass in scale. Uh, Not necessarily creativity, though everything is very creative. You cannot teach lessons in creativity as well as some would say. You merely learn how to use ingredients. Rather, John C. Wright masters size and weight and gravity. You see, the thing about those three things is that they're very important to how people will, in their mind's eye, view your uh, whatever it is, giant, ring world, space station, mecha, etc. If they don't know how big it is, they'll think it's too small or too large. Or maybe when they read something and they haven't been corrected or given some idea of how big it is, when they do something that they could normally do, assuming that you're a competent writer and keeping their scales in mind, like say they walk through a dome or something like that, or it passes in between um, a doorway. It's whatever, doesn't matter. Uh, if it violates what they believe to be true, it will hurt their suspension of disbelief and will ultimately hurt their investment into your story. This is accurate. Just right. Everything seems huge, and when it goes bigger, it feels bigger. The Dyson spheres hide 40 to a sun. It's amazing. When they replicate the Earth's amazing. When they finally meet the master vampire, it's got such threat and size to it that you believe that it's not actually going to go the hero's way just on their size and power alone. Then there's things like weight and gravity. It's calculated for. While I don't know how much actual maths he did, he hit that sweet spot between explanations and flying by the seat of your pants. The ideal idea is that you want something that does works with the rules that you have your book follow, but then work with reality enough so that the person believes it. That is to say, their suspension of disbelief is activated and supported. Perfect. Really, it's a pity that this story, you know, has, shall we say, not quite the usual depth, even though it's a depth worthy story. Just, think about it. The main character's name is Aeneas. Lord Tellus's policies are absolutely amazing. Um, Mercury being a villain, or, how the other characters interact with each other in a family, how, their sciences threaten and work with each other, and how they use it. Really, it's absolutely astounding at every level. Uh, but it's not quite a thinker. 0 out of 10. No, I'm kidding. Not at all. I don't really rank books like that. I find that I'm not able to. This never happens, by the way, which is so disappointing. Wait, does it? No, not really. Wait, no, not Jupiter and Earth anyway. It kind of does happen to another planet, but shh. Anyway, uh, I don't rank books specifically because I don't review something like this that I don't like. I've done nothing but praise this book. It has a audiobook coming out that I'm looking forward to listening to. Audiobooks aren't really my thing, so I don't spend money on them. I also don't like the fact that I can't buy a physical copy without adding $20 to my price tag. Um, Also, digital media. It's just oh, that's another discussion though. They do have an audiobook, and I'm not sure whether this has stayed with Castalia House or moved to Superversive Press, but this is certainly a book worth checking out. Certainly on the audiobook, which I'm going to put link down in the doobly doo below. I really hope you check this out and enjoy it. From what I can tell, it does sound quite excellent. Uh, Thrills abound. Honestly, you can't go wrong with a book like this. Thank you so much for listening. You've all been wonderful. Please do check out the links down below in the doobly doo for all the things I do. Good night.